back to my channel and welcome to the start of a new reading vlog. This week's reading vlog is going to be focused on Christmas books. So I have a bunch of Christmas books that I want to read. Obviously I won't be reading them all in this reading vlog. I think I'm going to read about 4 in this reading vlog and then I'll probably do another reading vlog for some more. But I wanted to share with you the Christmas books that I'm reading. So we'll start with the first one that I am very nearly finished with, and that is Christmas on Fifth Avenue by Julie Kaplan. And I am having a really good time with this one. So in this one we are following Evie and Noah, and it's a bit of an interesting setup, but Evie has recently been scammed out of a load of money, and she basically was contacted by scammers saying that she'd won a prize to go to New York and stay in the Plaza Hotel, but in order to claim the prize, she needed to send money to kind of claim the prize to secure her flights. Obviously this was a scam, but she fell for it because her and her mother has passed away, had always dreamed of going to New York together, so she had like a really strong emotional tie to going to New York, and so she didn't really think when the kind of email came through saying that she'd won this prize, because she was so excited that she was going to kind of go to New York and fulfill her and her mother's dream. Obviously her mother, as I say, has passed away, so her mother's no longer there, so she was kind of motivated by her kind of grief and desire to kind of fulfill that kind of dream that they'd had. And Noah is a football player, and he has recently been suspended from the game because of a tackle that he made on an opposing player, and the opposing player ended up getting really badly injured, and it was kind of like an illegal tackle, like a side tackle thing. I don't really know a lot about football, but it was an illegal tackle, so he got like suspended from the game for quite a while. And he is travelling to New York as well because he's like lying low because he has been getting slated in the media. And at the beginning of the book they meet at the airport, and Noah doesn't really warm to Evie at first because she seems very bubbly, very over the top. And when he finds out that she was the girl that got scammed, because it went viral on TikTok, I forgot to mention that it went viral on TikTok that she got scammed because she borrowed money from her flatmate to pay for the prize that she had won, and they obviously found out and posted about it on TikTok, and then she had to do like an apology video where she was like upset, so it went viral on TikTok. So he obviously looked down on her because of that, and they end up going to New York because the Plaza finds out about this scam that happened to Evie, and so they actually do like this PR stunt and pay for her to come out to New York and are going to pay for her to stay in the hotel in exchange for her doing like posts for their social media. As I say, it's like a big PR stunt that they do. And Evie and Noah end up having to kind of fake date in a way to promote the hotel. They end up being involved with posting different posts on the Plaza's social media, and they end up obviously starting to fall for one another. And I'm really enjoying this one. I wouldn't say it's definitely a favourite. I think there are definitely things that could have been improved. I feel like the setup is quite it's quite unique, but I also feel like quite unrealistic as well, which isn't necessarily a problem. Obviously it's a romance book, so you know, things that happen in those tend to be a little bit unrealistic, but the whole setup is a little bit bizarre, to say the least. And I feel like the scam is not really fully explained. Like, I'm still not quite 100% sure how that actually worked, but that's by the by. Anyway, I have had a really good time with this. This definitely gives very Christmassy vibes. Obviously she is in New York during the December period, staying at this gorgeous hotel, and she goes and does a lot of the touristy things that you would expect to do in New York, like going to the Empire State Building, going to the Rockefeller Center. They also do some other thing, like climbing up a building or going on like a building. I can't remember what building that was. Not the Empire State Building, I don't think. No, it wasn't the Empire State Building, it was another building, like a big tall building, and they go and like walk across, like there's like a platform I think outside that they can like walk walk across. There's ice skating. I'm trying to think what else they do. They go around Central Park, Bryant Park. There's lots of different touristy things that they do in here, and it definitely kind of gives warm Christmas cozy vibes because they are doing all these Christmassy things. They also go shopping as well, which as someone who loves shopping, I really like seeing that. Obviously Noah's a football player, so he's got a lot of money, so they go to Tiffany's and they go to some department stores, Bloomingdale's, and they do a lot of Christmas shopping, and I'm really liking this one. It is, as I say, just a fun, quick, easy Christmas read. I like the romance between Evie and Noah. I'm liking the way that that is developing. I've just got to the point, as you can see, I don't have very much of this left, but I've just gotten to the point where we're reaching the third act breakup, and I feel like we've got to the third act breakup point, and I feel like the characters have only really just started to get together, so the breakup has come around quite quickly. I feel like I'm not too surprised by it because when certain events started happening in the book, I was like, oh, I feel like this is going to be something that causes conflict between the two characters, and I was definitely right. So I'm interested to see how they patch things up, and obviously how the conflict gets resolved will definitely impact my rating, I feel. But so far I'm having a really good time with it. I haven't really heard anyone talking about this one. This one is a new book for 2025. And I do think it's definitely worth reading if you are looking for kind of an easygoing Christmas book. Definitely has Christmas vibes in here, and definitely there is mentions of like a lot of other Christmas films and moments in here that have happened in Christmas films that they kind of reenact as well. And just overall, it's just a really fun, light, cozy read. There is a like tiny little bit of spice in here, but I wouldn't say it's super spicy, but it's not a closed door romance either. There is a little bit of spice, but nothing crazy if that is something that you are concerned about. But I will update you tomorrow once I've finished this, and then we will discuss the next book that I'm going to pick up. I've got a few from the library that I will be prioritising in this video, and I think I'll probably throw in a couple of my own physical TBR books, but let me know in the comments below. I have mentioned it a few videos. If you have any books that you recommend, like Christmas books, let me know, because I'm on the hunt. Even though I've got like a massive TBR, I'm always on the hunt for new ones. So let me know at this point if there are any that you think I should read, and I will see you tomorrow for an update when I've finished this one and probably started on a new one. So I finished Christmas on Fifth Avenue by Julie Kaplan, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I did have a really good time reading this, and I obviously had read quite a chunk of this when I did my last update, so really all that I have to update you on is the third act conflict and obviously the resolution. So I do feel that the third act conflict was predictable, and the resolution was okay, but not the most satisfying. I feel like it could have been resolved a lot quicker. I don't obviously want to spoil it, but there is something that happens. I think if you read this, you'll probably see a mile off what's going to happen and what is going to cause conflict. And I do think that it could have been resolved slightly sooner if certain circumstances had happened differently, but obviously for the purpose of the story it obviously dragged out a little bit. And as I say, I had a good time with this. It is a solid Christmas read if you are looking for something quick and easy and Christmassy. This is definitely going to hit the spot. I did have a really good time. If you want to read about New York, if you like New York, this has got a lot of obviously New York things happening and obviously different touristy things. It definitely makes you want to kind of visit, and yeah, overall I had a really good time. I'd definitely be interested to see what this author may do next. I'm not sure if she's written any other books. Oh yeah, she's got like a bunch of books by the looks of it. So I'd be interested to maybe check out more from her in the future, but I'm glad that I picked this one up. And then the book that I've started reading next is A Very Merry Christmas by Debbie May Comber. This is obviously more women's fiction, and so far I'm having a good time with this. This is definitely going to be a quick read. The font in here is quite, I don't know if you can see, but the font's quite big, and I'm getting through this quite quickly. I've read quite a decent chunk of this already today. But the basic premise of this is we are on a ferry between I can't remember what the place is called, but so between somewhere and Seattle, it's a ferry that people get on to get to Seattle. I don't know if it's a real ferry, I assume maybe it is. And obviously there's lots of different people on here going to Seattle for the Christmas holidays. Obviously there's different people with different reasons for going to Seattle. And whilst they are on this ferry, the ferry kind of breaks down in the middle of the water and is stuck there, and they're obviously trapped on this ferry. And we are following lots of different people with different stories. So we have our main female character, I feel, that starts off the story is travelling to Seattle to see her brother for Christmas. They've not seen each other for a while. And then we have someone in the Navy who is travelling to meet his sister. Someone who's on the ferry because their wife is in labour. Someone else is travelling with their daughter to go and see Santa for Christmas, and the woman has been having is split up from her husband, and then it turns out that he's on the ferry as well, and he's the little girl's dad. And there's another character who is travelling to see her sister. They've not been talking for a few years because of some argument that they had following the death of their parents. So there's lots of different characters on here and lots of different stories, and some of them are kind of interconnected. And I feel like this is just going to be a fun, easy, quick Christmas read. Debbie May Comber is more of a women's fiction writer rather than a romance, although I suspect there might be a little bit of a romance going on between some of the characters. I feel like that might happen later on in the book. So she does write women's fiction that sometimes has like a romantic subplot, but there's obviously a lot of other things going on in here, a lot of other characters and stories. I enjoy Debbie May Comber's writing. Her Christmas books particularly, I always like fun, light, easy, quick reads. So yeah, having a good time with this one, and I definitely think I will get this one finished tomorrow, so I'll be able to update you once I have finished it. But so far, so good. I've read quite a few Debbie May Comber Christmas books, and they're always a good time. I do actually plan to reread one of my favourites, which is Dashing Through the Snow. I've got the audiobook checked out from my library, so I'll be listening to that again at some point. And yeah, looking forward to continuing on with this one. I finished A Very Merry Christmas by Debbie May Comber, and I ended up quite enjoying this one. I gave this one 4 stars. I would really recommend this if you are just looking for a really light, easy Christmas read. I had such warm feelings reading this story. I guess because although there is kind of a little bit of a romance in here, because we are following so many different characters and seeing their lives, everyone gets a happy ending, even though it's obviously not a romance, it is women's fiction, but everyone does get a happy ending and their stories get concluded really well. And this was just really like a really wholesome, cozy Christmas read. I could definitely see this as a Christmas film, and yeah, I had a great time with this one, and as I say, would definitely recommend it. It is also really short, so if you're looking for a short Christmas read that's not a novella but is a little bit shorter than a full-length novel, this would be a good pick. I flew through this really quickly, and yeah, I had a great time with it, and as I say, gave it 4 stars. The next book that I'm going to start reading, which I haven't started reading yet, is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I really want to dive into this one. I have heard nothing but good things about this one. It keeps popping up all over my Instagram page. Everyone seems to be talking about it and loving it, so I definitely want to pick this one up. So as soon as I have started reading this one, I will be doing an update, and I really hope that I enjoy this one. I'm here to do a reading update for Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I'm about half, maybe a little less than half the way through of this one, and so far I'm liking it. I wouldn't say that I'm like super obsessed with it like everyone else has been. I know I've seen like a lot of really positive reviews about this, and at the moment I'm feeling this is like a 4-star read. Obviously things might change as the story progresses, but so far it's feeling like a 4-star to me, and I'm not like as deeply obsessed with it as so many other people are, which is a shame because I was hoping to really like fall in love with this one, and I'm not quite there yet. Obviously things could change as I read along, but so far that's where I'm feeling with this one. So this one we are following Nolan and Harriet, and Nolan is a ghost of Christmas past. So in this world, the ghosts of Christmas past, present and future are real, and when people die, they can become different like have different roles in the afterlife, and Nolan is a ghost of Christmas past, and he goes to visit people each December and relive their past memories with them to kind of show their error of their ways. And he has been assigned this December to follow Harriet and show her past so that she can obviously learn and become a good person. But it's unclear why he has been assigned to Harriet, because Harriet appears to be this perfect person. She's really bubbly and fun and goes out of her way to do things for people. So it's unclear at the moment why he has been assigned to her, and obviously they are going to have a relationship, and we're starting to see that develop slowly. And Nolan, as I say, Nolan is obviously a ghost. He has passed away like hundreds of years ago, and because he's obviously a ghost, he can't like feel or taste things. Obviously people can see him when he obviously presents himself to them, and strange things seem to be happening in terms of he has started to feel things that he shouldn't be able to because he's a ghost. And also in their most recent trip back to view Harriet's past memories, they end up seeing one of Nolan's memories, which is completely unusual and not something that should be happening. And that's kind of as far as I've got at the moment. So we are starting to see that both of them definitely have an attraction for each other, and I guess that is going to develop as the story progresses. As I say, I'm liking this one, but I'm not like 100% obsessed with it yet. So I'm waiting to see how this one progresses, because I'm definitely intrigued. The premise is really interesting, and I'm definitely intrigued to see where this story is going to go. Obviously, with the fact that he is a ghost, I'm interested to see how this is going to resolve, obviously in a happy ending, because obviously it's a romance, so there is going to be one, but I'm curious as to how we're going to get there. So far so good, and I will update you once I finish this one. I'm here with some reading updates, and I have finished Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Sadly, I didn't love this one as much as so many other people have loved this one. I was really hoping that this was going to be a 5-star read, because I'd heard a lot of really rave reviews about this one, and whilst I did enjoy it, I don't think it lived up to the hype for me. I liked the premise of this one. We are following Nolan, who is a ghost of Christmas past, and he is tasked with haunting Harriet for the season, and it ends up being a story about the two of them obviously really connecting, and Harriet, he's unsure why he's been sent to help Harriet, because she seems to be like this really perfect person, and not the typical kind of candidate for being haunted by the ghost of Christmas past. And it turns out that Harriet is actually designed, or is there to help him and help him move on. And it's obviously their romance, and the romance between the two characters I did really like. I felt that it was really well done, and I really believe the connection that these two characters had, and this definitely feels like a soulmate type situation, and that definitely did come across. One of my biggest complaints about this one is it did feel in places a little bit too long and a little bit dragged out, and I felt that the ending felt a little bit rushed for me personally. Throughout the story, we are aware that they have like a time limit on their romance because of the nature of Nolan and obviously him being a ghost. And I feel like the way that kind of got resolved was not fully satisfying for me, and as I say, the ending felt a bit rushed, so that's why I gave it 4 stars. There's just a couple of things that didn't quite hit the mark for me. As I say, it felt a little bit too long in places, and then as I say, the ending felt too rushed for me, and I would have liked to have spent more time with these characters, and definitely kind of see them a bit more having their kind of happy ending. This does end on a happy ending. When you are reading this towards the end of the book, when it's about 90% in, I was thinking, where is this going to go? Is this actually a romance? Is this going to have a happy ending? But it does have a happy ending. I'm sure you'll be pleased to know. But yeah, This one was just okay for me, not unfortunately as good as I was hoping, but I am definitely intrigued to check out book 2 in this series when it does come out later next year. I thought the premise was really interesting. I'd love to see what B.K. Borison does next in this series. And then I have started a new book today, and that is All Together for Christmas by Sarah Morgan. This one is obviously a library book, and I am probably about half the way through this one, and so far I'm liking this one too. This one we are following a few different characters. This again is a bit more women's fiction than romance, but we have quite a few characters and quite a few different perspectives. So we have Becky, Rosie, Jenny and Hayley. We get those 4 perspectives, and they are Jenny is the mother of Becky and Rosie, and Becky and Rosie are twin sisters, and they have a older brother called Jamie, and Jamie is married to Hayley, or we find out that they have got married, and they are all travelling home to spend Christmas with Jenny and her husband Martin. So there is going to be a big family Christmas, and all of them have kind of got things going on in their lives. So we have Becky, who is one of the youngest. I don't know if she is. I think Rosie's might be the youngest, but she's obviously the twin sister of Rosie, and she is single, and she's recently changed jobs, and she's not really loving her job, and she's not really happy with life, and she is holding a secret. And her twin sister Rosie has recently got married, so she is obviously spending a lot of time with her husband, and her and Becky haven't been spending as much time together because Becky wants to give Rosie time to spend with her husband, so they haven't been as close as they once were. And Jamie is obviously with Hayley, and he announces that he's going to host this Christmas party and wants everyone to be home for Christmas because he has an announcement to make, and everyone assumes that it's going to be that him and Hayley are engaged. It does actually get announced that they are actually married. They had like a secret wedding, so they have that secret, and Rosie and her husband aren't 100% happy, even though they're relatively newlywed. They aren't 100% happy, and Jenny and Martin, they're obviously like in a new stage of life because their children have all left home, and Martin has recently retired, and he is definitely struggling with what he now does with his life now he's not working. And yeah, this, as I say, is a women's fiction book, and obviously we have all these characters and their stories kind of all connecting together, and it's good. They're obviously traveling home for a big family Christmas. I am enjoying this one so far. This definitely does have a lot of Christmas vibes. As I say, we are going home for a family Christmas, so if you like kind of reading about families and spending time together and all of that sort of stuff, I think you will enjoy this one. I'm having a good time with this one so far. I'm definitely interested to see where this one goes. We may have a slight romance building between Becky and her brother's best friend Will. They end up travelling home together for the holidays because there's bad weather, so she can't get on a flight to travel to her family. And he happens to be at the airport and offers her a lift, so they end up driving together, and I assume there's going to be a romance between them. We've already experienced the one bed trope because they end up stopping off at a hotel on the way because the weather's so bad they can't travel. And yeah, really enjoying this one so far. I definitely I'm interested to see where this one goes. I was a bit concerned when I first started it that all of the different perspectives was going to get a little bit confusing, but so far I am kind of, now that I've kind of gotten into the story, it did take me a little while to get into it, but now that I'm into it, I can tell who each one is, and everyone has quite a distinctive voice. One thing I will say is the chapters in here are pretty long, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do slightly prefer shorter chapters just because it's more convenient to kind of stop when I'm reading it, but overall enjoying this so far, and I think there's a good chance that I will get this one finished tomorrow, so I will be able to wrap up this vlog once I do finish this, and I will obviously let you know my thoughts once I do finish this one. So I'm here to wrap out this reading vlog, I finished All Together at Christmas by Sarah Morgan, and I was really pleasantly surprised by this one. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I had a really great time reading this, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a Christmas book to pick up this December. This one, I just felt, I don't know, like I felt really warm, cozy feelings from reading this one, and I really liked the way that this followed this family. It felt like a Christmas that a lot, you know, like the traditional Christmas that you see in films and stuff, with like the family and there being lots of chaos, but everyone all having, like, joining together for Christmas as a family. And I really liked seeing that, and I could definitely picture this as a film, and it felt really just like a fun, really enjoyable read, which is what I look for in a Christmas book. I also really liked that it did touch a little bit on how Christmases can look a little bit different when you're older, and like how that can kind of change your perception on Christmas, and the way that obviously you kind of crave those things as they used to be, but obviously new traditions come in as the years go on and things do change, and how you kind of deal with that. And obviously that wasn't like a major plot point of the book, but it was like touched upon briefly when obviously new people were introduced to the family. And yeah, I just overall had a really good time with this one. As I mentioned in my previous clip, we get 4 different perspectives, which sometimes can be a little bit overwhelming when you've got so many different perspectives, but I really liked that. I really liked getting to see an insight into these characters and their different kind of sub-stories that were going on, and then obviously how they all came together for Christmas, as the title suggests, All Together for Christmas. And yeah, I just really like spending time with this family, and overall I just would 100% recommend this. It's definitely my favourite Christmas book that I've read so far this year, hoping that I will find some more. As I say, this one is more of a women's fiction book. There is a little bit of a romance in here, but it's really more focused on the family and their spending the Christmas together, which I really liked. And you know, I do like reading romances, but sometimes it is nice to read something a little bit different. So yeah, 100% would recommend this one. But overall, I've had a really good time with this reading vlog. I've read a few good, really solid reads. I think most of them have been 4 stars or above. So that is really positive, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan on doing at least one more Christmas reading vlog, so please stay tuned for that. And if you want to see more Christmas reads, please do subscribe to my channel, because throughout December I am posting videos all about Christmas books, so do check those out.